multimedia and analyzing. Let's just review what is. Let's get a different color, shall we? What is analyzing? What does it mean? What's the most succinct, concise definition you could give of analyzing? What do you think? I'll start you off, okay? It's the process that does what? What does it accomplish? What does it achieve? I'll give you another clue. It takes one thing and transforms it into another. Is that enough warm-up for your cold 8 a.m. brains? What does it do? What's it take? Data. Thank you. In other words, raw, I was going to say unprocessed, but that's not a very helpful word here. Unsorted, uncategorized, non-meaningful, meaningless almost, data, right? And transform it into what? Yes, thank you. Okay, we woke up successfully. It takes things which don't have that much meaning to anyone. That's okay. And looks for meaning, looks for patterns, looks for trends, looks for things that are important or significant, yeah, or purposeful. So an example I gave you was data is a bit like if you ever played with Lego when you were a little kid. Or still play with Lego, that's totally fine, no shame in it, right? You got like a big box, a big crate, and all the pieces are in there, okay? And if you just poured that out, and there's no rhyme or reason to it at all, that'd be data, right? But transforming it into something meaningful might mean organizing it by color, sorting it in that way, right? Or maybe sorting it by size, or shape, or you know, there's some special pieces, or like people versus blocks versus, you can do it any way you'd like, okay? Something meaningless into something meaningful. Okay. Now, when you think about multimedia and its relation to this process, what do I mean? What do we mean? There are two things. Number one, multimedia can be what you make here. It can be the information, right? So for instance, we were talking about Lego just now, right? I could say, look, don't just put it into those piles and organize it in that way, or categorize it in that way, but let's do a count. How many red pieces are there? How many yellow pieces are there? And that kind of thing, right? And then we could draw like a chart, or a pie chart, something like that, okay? So multimedia can be the analysis. It can be the information you produce, which is meaningful, based on some raw data. Okay? So multimedia can be the analysis. It can be the information that you produce. Okay? But conversely, you can look at it the other way around. Okay? Multimedia might not be what you end with. Multimedia can be what you start with. Okay? Multimedia can be the data that you're actually looking at, finding patterns, searching for, trying to get some understanding and purpose out of it, right? So, multimedia can be the thing being analyzed. Okay? So let's think about this for a second. You guys have studied multimedia for a time now, right? So you know there's heaps of data associated with the multimedia itself. Okay? So, example. You take a picture. You take a picture. Okay? What kind of data is bound up in that picture? Let's start with the obvious stuff. What kind of data is in the picture? What makes up a picture? Say it was stored as a bitmap. What's the data in there? Ricky, what would you say? Colors. Yeah, thank you. You've got millions of colors that make up your picture. Okay, that's what the picture is. let's be a little more specific here, right? Not just colors, right? But you can say stuff like, say, bit depth. You could say things like resolution, how many pixels you actually have. Okay, good. That's a start. That's what a picture is consisting of. Okay, but most of the pictures you've taken recently, probably, especially if you took them on, say, a phone, include a lot more data than this. It's not just the colors that's there. There's extra data that's hidden in. What other data is there? Yeah, Paul. Thank you. Okay. So date and time. So there's chronological data stored in there alongside the colors and all that kind of thing. So you can order them by when they were taken. Easy. Okay. What I was alluding to before with your phone, right? Yeah, Ricky, do you want to add another one? Yeah, thank you. So let's go back a step. So the data that's bound up in this as well, which you don't usually see unless you look for it, is usually GPS data. Right? It's location data. So you have these completely different categories of data all wound up in the picture, right? And this is called geotagging, right? Geo as in geographical. Okay. I don't know how many of you are sort of into photography and that kind of thing, but if you don't take your picture with a phone, but if you take it with like a real camera, like, you know, a heavy one you gotta hold with 2 hands, it's black, it's got a huge lens on it, okay? There's even more data on there. There's a whole data type called Exif data type, which is associated with all the little nitty-gritty bits of photographic details that are bound up in the picture. For instance, things like aperture, which is how wide the camera lens is open when it's absorbing light. Things like, say, shutter speed, which is how long the camera is absorbing light, right? Other things like ISO settings, which is about light sensitivity, and I could go on and on and on. Okay, so all of these pieces of information, even the model of the camera that you took it on, they're all stored in the photo. Okay, and you can see all of these things can be analyzed, right? So this is, this one. This is multimedia being the thing being analyzed.